Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Windrider, Tom Herkins, Tina Baker, The Real Gabster, FlatEarthChannel.com, Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app, Texas Mike, Abraham Mohammed, if I could just say it, try that once more, Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Owen Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik86, Jeranism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Renee, Rob, Rune, Silver Umbrella, and Skeptic936. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. And I'm hoping if I can actually remember to do it, to shout out some of the members as well on this show. So I'll do a few of the penguins. But in the meantime, we're currently between two live shows. So I'll actually raise the mic on the Discord and G Plus panels, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show.
Ignore all the contradictory evidence. That's an anomaly. You're ignoring all the contradictory evidence.
In other words,
talking over there. You still haven't answered my question.
He's already engaged in another conversation.
He's in Discord. I'm sorry.
Nathan just
I can't
unmuted,
really
so you
even
know how
hear
that
Oh,
goes.
gosh. Yeah, he comes here on a daily basis, it seems like.
I don't come here on a daily basis. I've been on here 2 times in the past year.
Oh, are you delusional?
This is the 3rd time.
Yeah, you're in
You're on the show.
You're Xanax Puppet. Come on.
You're on Discord every day, unorthodox.
I'm talking about on the show.
What's the difference if it's the after show on Discord or this show? You're here trying to tell people, in your opinion, that believe something akin to unicorns that doesn't exist. What are you doing?
He's an engineer.
Because they're obsessed, man.
Of the time I just listen.
These guys, it's 10 o'clock in the morning my time. These guys will sit in that Discord and talk shit for the entire day. They'll be 11 o'clock tonight. They'll still be in there talking shit about how Flat Earth is stupid. Oh, Nathan's stupid. Yeah. Share your pain, guys.
Well, it was funny yesterday. Let me tell you a story, anecdotal story yesterday. Danny was talking, and they were talking about Einstein's, bending of space time and all this stuff. He said that in TV tubes, when they were developing TV tubes for the old TV styles, that they had a count for the bending and compression of space time to cause the electrons to create the picture on the TV. I'm going like, really?
Hey, that's the same guy.
Wow.
You're talking about Danny T?
Yep. Tell him, John.
Yeah, that was Danny T. Exactly. That was Danny T.
All right. Thank you. That's the same guy that said planes fly backwards.
Yeah. And Paul, tell him that maybe in those days when the TV tube was curved, but today is the day of flat screens.
Good one. That's a good one. I should have thought that. And I told him, I said, okay, if that's the truth, then just show me the mathematics and the diagram of that. And of course, that lasted about 2 seconds. He didn't bring up anything.
If I dig it up for you, will you believe it?
We got people who believe planes fly backwards trying to teach us something. I mean, come on.
I can't help but think that's a misunderstanding.
Wake up, unorthodox. You
misunderstanding.
Give a citation.
You couldn't debunk a soup sandwich You're so retarded. You've been exposed more times than Mae West, and you keep coming back here. Today was just another in a long list of absolute train wrecks.
The train
What's
wreck
your
was
problem, son?
you guys claiming kill shot when it's actually a textbook Black Swan fallacy. That was the train wreck.
Explain
But Black
the fallacy.
Swan, he's still
Hold on.
on it. He
Hold
still
on.
doesn't get it.
Hold on, I'll have
You were
that.
so
I'll have
fucking
that.
does it.
stupid.
Hold on. Go on then. Explain the fallacy. Okay, explain the fallacy to us.
The Black Swan fallacy is one in which the arguer ignores contradictory evidence on the basis of past experience. Let me give you the classic example, okay? All the swans I've ever seen have been white. Therefore, all swans are white. Here's a black swan. All swans are white. That can't be a swan. That can't be
You're
a
the
globe.
fallacy.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're the
literally-
fallacy.
Jeez.
The fallacy's you.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what I
you-
gleaned after watching his video on the exact same subject. Essentially, it's the same as on the last show. He's projecting his fallacious reasoning onto us. He's saying that all swans are white based on his past experience. So all horizons are geometric then, because in your past experience, they've always pretty much matched up with your model.
I'm coming at it from
Wow,
your
bro.
perspective. I'm taking your
Rest in
words
peace,
and
unorthodox.
putting it into the
Yeah,
fallacy.
you're guilty
Okay,
of the fallacy you're detailing. You realise that? You're projecting again. It's quite amusing.
So you're not claiming that that can't be a sphere?
It can't be. I went through this on the last show, right? And I made you shut up when you interrupted me about 6 or 7, maybe 8 times. And I told you, shut up. I'm telling you how that modus tollens example works. And I broke it down for you on the last show. Now, there was a point where I got to say it unimpeded by you without you interrupting, but you still didn't listen.
It has an untrue premise. Q isn't true.
What's Q?
That it's a horizon distance measurement. It's not a measurement. It's an observation of optical light that has a phenomenon occurring.
That's incorrect. Your model's geometric.
And I'm talking about you're saying the picture, you're claiming a picture, an observation was a measurement. It's not.
No, we're talking about...
You didn't measure anything.
I'll say it for the 3rd time. I guarantee he'll talk through it. It's about your model and its geometric horizon. 3rd time.
Yes.
I mean, yes. So not about the light and how it bends, not about any of that shite you just spouted then. That would be your incorrect
pertains
assertion
to the
then,
photo.
while you talk through me because you don't like being wrong. So, of course, that needs the audience communicating that you've got something very important to say while I spank your ass and point out that that little word salad shite that you came out with a moment ago was incorrect. And surprisingly, the analogy you think you've already debunked on some weak-ass video, you don't even understand yet. And I'm still having to explain it to you for what will be the 4th and 5th probably time on this show. So no, it's about the geometric... Of course he's talking. Very important things to say. What, so you can deny this that you don't understand and have had repeatedly explained to you? So you're debunking something again that you don't understand? And you're going to demonstrate, what, 5 or 6 more times by virtue of you interrupting when it gets explained to you that you don't want to understand it? Clearly.
I understand it. His
You
modus tollens.
you don't understand it. You debunked it using a straw man of a fallacy that you are yourself guilty of. You then detailed how you believe in analogy all swans are white. Well, the whole point of the analogy is you've only got to show one black swan to disprove that premise. Not all swans are white if you show a black one. And not all horizons are geometric if you show one that's a geometric impossibility. That's the argument. Now, you can't attack that because you don't even understand it.
One of your premises is false as it pertains to the photograph. You're saying a photograph is a measurement.
No,
No.
that's not what we're saying. What
No,
we're saying
I'll say that again.
Look
is
at his
that
modus
the-
tollens.
I literally only said
read
that
it 2
about...
days ago.
I answered that exact thing about 3 minutes ago. You just didn't listen. I'm getting sick of you, to be honest, because you're not listening to what we're saying. And it's because you're cognitively blind to what we're saying. And your blindness, you're trying to assist yourself by talking over me every time I talk, like now. You're cognitively blind to what we are telling you. And your mind says, I can't take this information in, so I'll talk through it when it comes. What you're doing is telling. Very, very telling. Now, you think you're doing well by interrupting me when I absolutely pummel you. You're not. You're just conveying to the audience how terrified you are.
I'm so terrified. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a pretty
unorthodox.
sad straw that you're
Unorthodox.
grasping at.
Unorthodox.
Tom.
We're not
So you're
measuring the
not
horizon.
denying all the contradictory evidence.
Hey, just listen for a
Yeah,
minute.
throw out a
We're
red
not
herring.
We're not measuring the
That's the black
horizon in
swan
that
fallacy.
picture. Hey,
He's got to talk
measuring
through you.
the
He's got to
oil.
cognitively program himself, 10th man. He's been proven
Yes, I
wrong,
know.
and he's managed to talk through him hearing how he's wrong. So now he's going to spew it out again to cognitively reprogram and reaffirm that he's right. He's not doing it to piss you off. He's doing it to save himself from cognitive pain. That's the only reason he's doing it.
I agree
Yes.
with you, Nathan. But here's the problem that these globers don't get. So whether he talks or not, I'm going to say it. The measurement is of the oil platforms. That's the measurement. We just
Which
see
I
the
told
horizon
him.
behind it.
Try again,
Of course.
10th man.
Yeah,
Chocolate.
like I said.
Hold on,
that's
Chocolate.
a
I didn't hear what
straw
10th man
that you're
said.
grasping at.
Chocolate. I didn't hear what 10th man said because
Sorry.
you interrupted him.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Well, unorthodox and the globers are saying that's just an observation and not a measurement. But in actuality, the measurement is there because the oil platforms, even according to the government site that I posted the picture, tells you how far they are from the shore. The measurement is the oil platforms. All we're saying is that the horizon is behind it, and the geometric nature of this earth must have the horizon in front of it and no more than 1.23 miles. Can't you get it?
You're equating an
doesn't.
optical
He doesn't get
phenomenon
it.
with a geometrical measurement.
It's your radius.
That's another fallacy. That's a fallacy of misplaced concreteneess. Or
Do you
Yes,
believe
it's
in
not
the
our
radius?
model.
Friggin' moron.
You moron. Again, he's
Well,
just...
what's the
again,
name of
let me
that-
just explain that before everyone rumpuses the crap out of me. No, the fallacy of misplaced concreteness is where you take something which is not concrete and make it concrete. Well, in this instance, we have a position in the distance. We call it the horizon. And that has been reified into a geometric sphere edge. So we're not reifying a horizon into a geometric horizon. We're not doing that. You are. That is the fallacy of misplaced concretedness, also known as a reification fallacy. That's what you are doing when you take a geometric model and turn a position we see in the distance called the horizon into the geometric edge of that model. That is the fallacy of misplaced concretedness. You are the one who is guilty of it, and you are projecting your own pain onto us for about the 7th time since your appearance here.
Can I ask an unorthodox question?
No,
This is what I'm at.
Go ahead, Paul.
Unorthodox. What causes the bottoms of boats to disappear at the horizon? What is that?
typically, depending on the light conditions, on a perfect day, where you have clear vision, it would be the Earth, the shape of the Earth.
Okay, what is the shape of the Earth? What is that?
It's an oblate spheroid.
Okay, is that a physical location or is that an apparent location?
Well, what's the difference? I don't really understand the difference.
Yeah, physical locations can block the bottoms of boats, not actual ones can't.
Yeah, so it's the actual Earth is blocking the boat.
So you
Earth
have
in front
made
of the boat, so you
concrete,
can't see it.
so you have made physical and concrete a not actual location called the horizon. You are turning...
It is an actual location.
you shut the fuck up, Fundy. I'm telling you, Fundy, your cognitively pain isn't going to get projected onto me while I tell you that by definition, you have just turned a not actual location called the horizon into a
Never said it was not an actual
physical...
location.
I know it's hard. I'll say it once. I know you can't
straw
bear
man me and I
to
won't
hear it because it's so painful.
You're
But
straw
you are
manning me.
guilty of the very fallacy you have called on us. The fallacy of misplaced concretedness, where you make
You're
concrete
straw-manning me.
and physical. Why are you talking through me, you asshole?
You're straw manning me.
I haven't got to
Never
finish
said
my
it wasn't an
sentence
actual
yet.
location.
I haven't got to finish. How can you say I'm straw man? You haven't finished my sentence.
You're saying I said it wasn't an actual location.
I haven't finished my explanation yet. You're deciding what I'm saying to defend it because you're in pain cognitively. You can't bear to hear
No.
what I'm saying, so you are going to continually interrupt the summary of what you have done and accused us of. You have accused us of the fallacy of misplaced concretedness, and while I detail that fallacy and how you are guilty of it, you will continually interrupt me because you're guilty of projection, you've accused us of it, and you have done it yourself, and I'm going to explain how. We have a not... You're not going to let me. You're not going to let me, though. So for the audience's benefit, at this point, having attempted 6 times to explain how he is guilty of the fallacy of misplaced concretedness, we are not, and he has projected that onto us. If he interrupts me again, I'm going to have to mute him, because he is fundy muting me. He's not letting me explain how he's guilty of this fallacy. He's accused us of it, and now I'm going to explain how he's guilty of it. So if he stops me again, I've got no choice. He's muting me. So you have turned a not actual location, that's the horizon, inside its own definition. It's a not actual location. That's what it is by definition. Now that location, which is not actual, has just been described by you, after questioning from Paul, as a physical obstruction, making something which is not actual into something concrete, physical. That would be, by definition, the fallacy of misplaced concretedness. The very fallacy you claimed we were guilty of. We are not reifying any not actual locations into physicality. You most definitely are. Ergo, you are guilty of the very fallacy you were claiming we were guilty of, and therefore you are also guilty of projection, projecting your own failings, fears, and ineptitude onto us. Okay?
I never said it wasn't an actual location.
No, you said it was an actual location that blocked the bottom of a boat, when in reality it's a not actual location, ergo you're guilty of the fallacy of misplaced concretedness, turning that which is not actual into something concrete. Not actual being the horizon, concrete being a physical fucking obstruction based on your geometric Earth curve model.
It is a location.
No, it fucking isn't. The horizon, by definition, is not actual. The whole purpose of the Black Swan is to demonstrate just how not actual it is, on account of the fact that it's physically impossible, geometrically not capable of being in the location it is in that picture. Now, were you to understand the Karl Popper analogy and the actual evidence of the picture itself, you might have appreciated that you cannot actually use the fallacy of misplaced concretedness with that image, because you can't reify that horizon into a geometric horizon. It's impossible geometrically to do so. That's why it defeats your globe model, because you don't have a geometric horizon. You have an apparent, redundant, it's in the bloody definition, horizon. Now that horizon, once shown to be non-geometric, can never ever be geometric ever again. It's not a geometric horizon. It can't possibly be so. I.e., if you are to declare that we have a geometric horizon, a la your model, it must always be a geometric horizon. As soon as you demonstrate that we don't have all white swans, all geometric horizons, then you debunk the notion that we have a geometric horizon. We've only got to debunk it once.
Yeah, there's the reification fallacy. You're equating a photograph to an actual geometric measurement.
What's the difference between a reification fallacy and the fallacy of misplaced concretedness? Go.
You tell me. You go.
You just used it. You've used both. You said we were guilty of the fallacy of misplaced concretedness. Now you're saying we're guilty of a reification fallacy, and I want to know the difference. Go.
I'm not a dancing monkey, Nathan.
So you don't know what the fuck you're accusing me of. You've said I'm guilty of a reification fallacy, and you've said I'm guilty of the fallacy of misplaced concreteness, which I've already detailed. Now I want you to tell me what a reification fallacy is and how it differs, as you've just accused me of it.
I'm talking about a reification fallacy.
Yeah, I know! What the fuck is it?
I just told you.
No, you didn't. I'm going to eject him. Anybody object? He's just lied.
No.
He's lying.
Nope, he's a retard.
At that point, he's just fucking lied to me. That enrages me. No, you haven't told me what it is. I've very clearly asked you to define the difference between a reification fallacy and the fallacy of misplaced concreteness. You've danced around it and then told me that you already have. You lying sack of shit.
I just explained to you.
No, you fucking didn't. That's it. Your time here is over, you liar. Nobody heard you define the difference. Nobody heard you define anything. You're just a liar. Here to piss us around when you get smashed.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Quantum Eraser, Paul Hall, Ranty Flat Earth, Righteous Force, Chocolate Sane, 10th Man, and Anon Moto in G+, along with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome
You
one
forgot
and
about
all.
me.
Oh, sorry, Arwijn. And Arwijn. And Arwijn! Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, this is going out live on the second channel. So, welcome to everybody who's in the second channel live chat. Have I put it up on screen? No, I haven't. I have to change the chat on screen. But this will be going out on Saturday for the Nathan Oakley audience. However, over the last 5 days, we've covered the individual housekeeping questions, one each day. So today, technically yesterday, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, we covered distance to the sun. And today, we're going to be covering any viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. So before we actually cover the subject and why it's asked and what the answer is, anybody in Discord, any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Don't all go at once.
Can't think of any.
Just hearing some mutterings. No? Okay. So all three of those fields are not science. None of them will ever develop any viable hypotheses for anything they state. And a lot of the rhetoric we get for heliocentricity is from these fields of pseudoscience. So challenging them to actually provide a hypothesis means they would have to actually provide us with genuine, legitimate science, i.e. formulated scientific hypothesis based on a natural phenomena with an independent variable presumed cause of the effect validated by systematic experimentation, as opposed to what we receive from these fields who tell us what our world is, I hasten to add. We get just so stories. Observe and declare. So we don't have science from the people who tell us what our world is, but they absolutely sit under the banner of science. Why? Well, because science is claimed from them to offer the same empiricism as though they have followed the scientific method. And they haven't. They're just using the good name of science, which has empiricism, to punt their just so stories. So our questioning of their validity is to ask them for a viable hypothesis. And they don't have one. That was quick.
So for anybody that's confused as to why you can't form a viable hypothesis, can you tell them?
Well, they can only achieve the first step, most of them.
Exactly.
So they can observe.
Exactly.
They can observe a phenomena. They can look through their telescope and observe something happening. But then establishing the cause, varying said cause, which they assume is the cause of that effect they observed, isn't in their capabilities. So they've got step one of the scientific method. That's it. Often not even that. Just the just so story will do about something that's not even there, like empty space, you know, and making up about nothing, quite literally.
Right.
Just so story about nothingness.
Yeah, they have no way to confirm their assertions, basically. That's what it comes down to.
But yeah, but you could just justify that with maths. We could be orders of magnitude off when it comes to dark matter. What's dark matter? Whatever you want it to be.
Right. But no actual physical confirmation. That's it. That is what science is really about. So, yeah.
Nathan, can you finish the steps for people listening for the first time for a true scientific method?
Sure. I mean, in its most simple raw form, step one, observe a natural phenomena. That would be to say something occurring in the physical and natural world that you want to explain. An occurrence. Natural. Step two, formulate a hypothesis. That is to establish half of it in your first step, your dependent variable, your observed phenomena, and your independent variable, that which you presume causes the effect. So once you've got an independent and a dependent variable, you can form the first half of a hypothesis. Once you've got that, you can then form your null, which is the contrapositive result. In other words, this is the stage that you get your empiricism, or you'll get it from experimentation when you validate it, but this is what offers it upon experimentation. So in the hypothesis, you've got both your affirmative claim, your presumed cause of the effect, independent and dependent variable, and the null, which is the complete opposite. So if A then B is your positive claim, if A not B would be the null hypothesis. So when you go forth to the third step, which is to say, well, there is another step that, you know, you can do research in between, but that's not necessarily worth mentioning in the most basic of the steps. The third step would be to actually perform the experiment, which is the actualization of the hypothesis. So if you propose or suppose or have a presumed cause of an effect, i.e. if A then B, you vary A, and if it causes B, you have validated your alternative hypothesis. If you vary A and it does not cause B, you have validated your null hypothesis. So at the end of the process, you will either validate or invalidate your hypothesis. Now, there's only the control variables, which I'm not to mention to keep it in its most simplistic form, but that's pretty much the bare bones of the scientific method. So I'll summarise it. Step 1, observe a natural phenomena. Step 2, formulate a hypothesis. Step 3, validate or invalidate, actualise the hypothesis with experimentation. So even simpler, natural phenomena, hypothesis, experiment. There you go. That was quick.
So they can't manipulate a black hole?
Can you observe a black hole? The thing about space, right, is it's black. And the thing about a black hole, the general overriding principle thing about a black hole, the thing that makes it a black hole, is it's black. So how are you supposed to see him?
Yeah, red dwarf.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, shortened, slightly awkward moments after each shortened housekeeping question now, because normally there's like a certain routine to the beginning of each of these live shows. You go through each question, you gotta get your flow, and then something will flow off the top of it. But whereas each time we cover an individual, some of the shows it's gone on for 3 hours. Gravity, Anthony Riley looking at you. And some of them, like I say yesterday's, the one on the last show. What, 5 minutes to summarise the distance to the sun argument? That was all it was. This one, 10 minutes.
Every day a new approach, right? When it is like what housekeepers do, you know. If you're constantly doing the same routines over and over again, and you're doing it for a very long period daily, right? You're gonna find ways to kind of vary the way you do it just to keep yourself slightly more amused, or you're gonna feel like a robot and get depressed. So, and that we ourselves also approach the housekeeping questions in different ways, depending on how we feel or what our thoughts are bringing us about it at the time being.
Two things have just caught my attention that have made me chuckle while you were saying that. So I got Mason B in the chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. It says, Nathan, what are your thoughts on Arwijn and Anon yesterday? Maybe we'll come to that back later. And then there's another one in Master B from 10th Man. It's got a little caption. It says, I'll just put it up and then I'll say the caption afterwards. It says, I'm looking for that shill Zanuck. Just thought that was quite funny. Love it. So what were my thoughts on Anon? I think he's lazy. You're lazy, Anon.
Okay. You can think that.
We don't just have to think it. We've proven it. Can prove it by example. You being the example and your information.
My information is lazy?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not complete. It's not properly formulated. It's obviously and blatantly based on incorrect trains of thought. Conclusions pre-drawn without actually realizing that it completely derails the entire foundation of the argument. That's the laziness we're talking about. And that's the thing that I've been repeating now on a weekly basis to you. So
I mean, I don't think that's the definition of laziness, but okay. Because I have a job and 2 kids, and I also hop on here all the time. Can you do that?
No, you're expanding this out too
the
far.
best baller rebuttal
No,
I've ever heard.
Hold on. No, you're expanding it out too far. The question that I was asked from the super chat by Mason was in regards to your debate with Arwijn. And specifically in that regard, you could have, I've been saying this to you for 8 months, so is QE. You could have easily looked up how they derived. I'm not even going to bother repeating it now. I've said it so many times.
Yeah, that's obvious. You're not interested. Yeah, you're not. We know.
Yeah, because
we know
I'm not dealing with a mathematical function. I'm not dealing with a wave function. I'm looking at a wave pattern that can only be created by interfering wave. It's called a diffraction pattern. Without
it's a wave pattern now.
Diffraction pattern. Period. It's an antecedent. No wave
pattern.
No diffraction pattern. Do you understand?
Well, you know, I can actually draw a wave pattern.
Oh,
Does
cool,
that mean
man.
that,
Can you draw?
that my drawing
Draw it
is
for
a
me.
wave? Does that mean that, Anon?
Draw it for me like a school kid. Go ahead, draw it for me.
I don't need to. I can make people imagine how that works. I basically scribble a few lines on a paper that has a lot of similarities to the wave function that happens when light shines through 2 double
no
slits.
diffraction.
And then I have this pattern
Period.
on the paper. And then, according to you, I can claim that that was caused by a wave because it correlates with the same patterns.
So you're going to draw something and then draw a diffraction pattern and then claim it's been caused by particles? Because
Well, by your logic,
Hold on, sorry guys, sorry,
fine,
just 1 second, Arwijn, sorry, just so you don't rehash the whole argument from yesterday. So it reached a point where Arwijn was describing the double slit when it was scaled up. So it was pretty clear that Arwijn had looked into this to some degree. And he explained how you could fire particles of a larger size that definitely weren't light and get the exact same pattern.
Show it me.
You're asking me to on the spot? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't back this on the spot. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Arwijn, show it me. You know about you
curious
looked into it.
to see it, but
Show it to me.
Yeah, Anon, I am gonna rehash the argument now a little, and because the only example you have is this light that you can do in your kitchen every time. That's the only example you have to then draw a conclusion from that it must be a wave because you presuppose that it is a wave and that
Show
can it
it
only
to
be
me.
caused by a wave. Yet there's a lot of references out there that you like to point at about how diffraction is only a wave. It's all waves, 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 waves. But when somebody actually cites without an actual example, a visual example, but it's still out there, it's still written about, people wrote papers about it, did debates about it, that it has actually been done with something that's clearly not a wave,
What are
you
you talking
dismiss
about?
it out hand.
Show it me. I'm waiting. I'll wait and waiting for you to share your screen so I can see this diffraction pattern caused by particles. Let's see it.
Still waiting for John.
Hold on,
man.
did he say?
haven't you ever
Okay.
looked it
Hold
up?
on, Chocolate. Did you say by buckyballs? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, let's see this buckyballs.
Okay.
But in order to have a diffraction, you need waves. Period.
Yeah, I know you
Antecedent.
believe that. Fucking dumbass.
Antecedent.
I know.
Okay, just so we don't have this for the whole thing, we just don't need we know what your claim is, okay? So please, whenever someone's doing anything Anon, just you don't have to repeat the claim over the top of them. We
I'll
know
go
it.
on mute.
We know it. Sorry, are you digging this out then, Arwijn, or is that like?
I don't know where to look. I asked this stuff to John for like months ago. He gave me a bunch of
John.
links to white papers, not actual visuals. I don't know why, but John doesn't have it, I think. Because otherwise he'd shoved it in my face, or he's
Hold
just so impatient
Hold
that he
on.
just refuses to do the work and just complains about me being lazy, not finding it myself, kind of like a baller does. Yeah,
thought
that's
I was
okay,
lazy.
John. So I'm waiting for the evidence myself, but I know the claims are out there, just like the dumb textbook claims about how diffraction can only be caused by waves, and it's everywhere in wiki and dictionaries and all that shit. Doesn't make it actual though, you know, because in
now
all
you're
those
on my side?
dictionaries and all those books and all those encyclopedias, there's all kinds of talk about how the earth is a globe as well. Doesn't prove that either, you know. So yeah, I'm still waiting as well.
You're still
I'm
researching.
waiting on the same thing as Anon does, except I don't draw really dumb, premature conclusions based on false assertions. That's the difference.
What's the problem, man? Sorry, my internet suddenly stopped whole power.
I'll
went
ask
out,
so
man.
there's no heatedness about it. Do you have a quick
Crashed.
reference to any double slit that's been done with buckyballs or anything larger than Lite, basically?
I already went over this before, didn't I? How many times I got to go over this? Who wants to know?
Arwyn's just hoping for a physical, something you can look at rather than read.
What do you want me to do?
Demonstrate.
Shut up! It's already been demonstrated. Buckyballs were done in the 90s, fuck's sake.
Okay, show it to me. Show it
What do
to
you...
me.
Show it to you? You.
Yes.
I'm not even talking to you
Find
anymore.
the
Fuck
URL.
off.
Find a YouTube video of it.
Fuck
Find
off.
something. I'll rest my case.
You don't have a case. You're a fucking retard. Brenda handed you your ass yesterday. How can you even show your
You're
face?
on Brenda's side. Let that sink in. You're on Brenda's
Brenda
side.
handed you your ass yesterday.
You
I
are
was
on
laughing
Brenda's
at you.
side.
Hold on,
Let
hold
that
on.
sink
What's
in.
this side crap?
Let that sink
I
in.
don't. Hold on. There's no.
This is the shit I have to deal
Hold
with.
on. Just
Because I want to
I'm
know.
not
Hold
speaking-
on.
I'm not
But now
speaking to
it's
him.
About
just
sides.
Anon
Hold on,
getting all
Arwyn,
triggered
hold
over
on.
one another
Just
again
clear that up
and
for
not
Anon.
providing any evidence.
Ugh, triggered. Anon.
Yeah.
No. It's not about sides. I don't care whose side she's on. If she's right, I'll back her. If she's wrong, I'll tell her. And I didn't
Yeah,
see
same
your,
with me. With
I didn't
QE,
see your bit with her.
He's right with the light, with the vacuum
Yeah.
in space.
He got his ass handed to him. Did you listen to it, Nathan?
No, I'd gone to bed by that point, so I don't. I'm saying this, but I don't actually know what happened between the two of them.
Oh, just wait till you hear it, man. I was rolling.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let people hear it.
I don't care.
I love that.
Fuck off.
We are live. Try
So,
not to
okay,
swear
just
quite
to be
so much,
clear, there
please.
is no demonstration of a diffraction pattern caused by anything else beside a wave.
A wave, huh? A wave of what?
That waves
Oh,
can
what?
only
That's right.
happen.
I forgot. I'm
Doesn't
not
matter.
talking to that crayon
No.
muncher.
There's no demonstration of that either, Anon. There's a lot of things that are said.
Wait a second. Hold on. Anon, how did you get in here?
I'm an elite hacksaw.
Who gave you the link?
I'm an elite hacksaw.
Somebody had to give you the link. Who was it?
I am an elite
Ranty.
hacksaw.
Nathan, you need to
let me
read
ask you
the
something, Ranty.
code for the panel.
Shut up, Arwijn.
No,
Ranty.
I'm telling this to Nathan.
Ranty.
I'm friends with 76 people in there.
I just want to know who gave you the link.
I told you, I'm an elite hacksaw. I have a Skype client that actually
You're a dishonest. You're a dishonest retard, right? If I find out who gave him the link to this hangout, you're out of that
What
room.
are you gonna do?
Take him out of the room.
Like I said, there is.
I'll find out. Oh, I'm gonna
Skype
find out. I'm gonna find out, retard.
Can we change the
You're a
subject?
tick, Anon. You're a parasite. You're
can we
clearly
change the subject?
unwanted, and you're proud that you are parasitical, Anon.
Yeah.
Sick bastard.
I'm like an Alabama tick.
Yeah, you are a parasite that everyone hates. That's right, yeah.
Everybody hates me because I point out your bullshit.
Because you're a
That's why.
parasite and you go to places where you're not wanted. That's right.
Everybody who comes here is not wanted. This all the ballers. So Zanuck, yeah, you can put me in the ballers group. Fine.
Oh, really?
Doesn't matter. I make the show.
No, we said here, here in the hangout, not in Discord. Here,
Doesn't matter.
You're not welcome
What? So you
here.
can't mute me. So you can't mute me.
You're not welcome here
Oh,
because you're a retard. That's why you're not welcome here.
this is Nathan's show. If Nathan doesn't want me, I'll drop.
Oh, he doesn't mind.
I don't
Nathan?
mind
There you
either
go,
way. That's
stay.
why I'm shutting up.
Nathan?
I haven't said anything because I don't mind either way.
I do it.
Well, there you go.
Very helpful. Your neutrality comes at the greatest moments, Nathan. Brilliant.
Sorry, I'm not backing you, Arwijn. What do you want? Just kidding. You can laugh about it.
That's funny.
Make the show fun. You get to yell at me. Don't you like that?
It's not fun. It's a waste of time.
I agree.
Well,
it's a
for
waste
you,
of
You
time.
are a
think
waste of time. You waste
To be honest,
everybody's
Anon,
time.
it is frustrating because the very thing that we've been saying for months and months and months, every time we say it, you go, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Because you're a
I've
parasite.
been waiting
You're
for
here
the
to waste
demonstration.
everybody's time.
Arwijn, I want to talk to
Even
Nathan.
Brenda has more legitimate input than you have. Yeah. Think
I
about
want
that.
to talk to Nathan.
And that's
Nathan,
scary.
I'm asking for a demonstration of, if you show me a demonstration of a diffraction pattern caused by particles, I will gladly say I was wrong and I will look into
Here we back with the particle. You did it in your kitchen.
Yeah, I created diffraction pattern.
Yeah,
Can only be
with
caused
particles.
by- No,
With
that's not particles.
Yeah,
No.
it is. And I already toe tagged your dumbass. You're in my toe tag list for this nonsense.
Perfect. I can't
How many
wait.
times do I got to do this? I'm not doing it again. Go
Because you
go
never
look at
did.
my toe tag list, and you're toe tagged. You're dead. You're there.
He doesn't care.
All right.
I know he
So,
doesn't.
no demonstration of
Guy.
diffraction pattern. Got
He's
it.
basically
Just
kind
be
of like
clear.
Jason McCormack. He just does the same tired old shit over and over and over again forever, and he doesn't care if people don't want to hear it. He likes to assert himself like a parasite.
Yeah,
And he'll
he's
probably
not
use
a-
duck trolls. He'll use hacking. He's even proud of it, how he is a parasite. Just wanted to re-emphasize that for a moment.
he's
All I've
he's an
heard-
ether lover.
All I've heard is Anon asking for this paper for this experiment from the 1990s, and Arwijn doesn't have it, and Quantum Arrays is refusing to say where it is or where he has it, and Anon's just asking for it, and I think this can be laid to rest here
Okay,
and
can
now.
I
if
answer
this
that
can be
then?
Produced.
Can I answer that? Because
That's it.
he did actually ask me. I just didn't get a chance to answer him.
Okay. Well, I know that it was you brought it up, and you
Yeah,
said that.
I understand. Okay,
yeah.
I'll just respond to it then. So for me, the reason it's not come up until now, I tried to use it as a different angle because Arwijn tried to use it with the same effect yesterday. That was where the conversation kind of ended for me with you two yesterday. So Arwijn saying, look, there's a demonstration of something physical. Now the objection has come for that as a new angle to try and get you to understand this. But my angle wasn't that to begin with. My angle was to say, when you describe a diffraction pattern, the diffraction pattern itself, you then reword as a wave. And you say the only way that's achievable is if it's traversed a wave, whatever it may be. Well, the diffraction pattern, interference pattern, is then qualified mathematically as a wave function. But it's still a diffraction pattern. It's just an interference pattern. What you're looking at is interference. That's what that pattern is. Well, when you
Interferences
quantify...
of what?
Sorry? Say again.
Interference of what?
The likelihood...
What?
Okay, I'll tell
what
you.
Are the things that
I'll
are
tell you.
interfering?
Well, that's a good question, because that's how they quantify it mathematically. So when you describe interference mathematically as a wave function, what is a wave function? Well, it's a probability distribution. So on the bars that you've got, let's pretend you've got 5, and from left to right they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, as each hit occurs, if you were sending them out one at a time, you'd see that you had a hit of the light at 0.3, and that happens to be the longest bar. In other words, you get more hits at 0.3 than any of the others, 1, 2, or 4, and 5. But when you fire the next one, it doesn't hit 0.3. It hits 0.1. Then you fire another one, it hits 0.5. Well, when you qualify those impacts, where they will hit, and what the likelihood of the next impact will be, that's probability. How likely it is to hit the next bar at 0.1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Well, the likelihood of it hitting 0.2 can be summed up as a probability. The likelihood of it hitting 0.3 can be summed up as a probability. And the likelihood of it hitting 0.4 as a probability. So you have a distribution of probability, aka a wave function in maths. Now that is absolutely not in any way, shape or form derived from, formed by, or in physical terms, a wave. It's a way of describing a likelihood of an occurrence. How likely is the next bit of light that comes out my laser going to hit position 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5? And the likelihood of it hitting position 3 over number 2 is the distribution of said probability described in maths as a wave function.
Nathan,
Okay.
my rebuttal here would be, it's very simple. It's that in this show format, if there is a claim, there is claim, and then you need to have your citations and proof. So Arwijn on my show yesterday made a claim, which was brought up again today by yourself. Arwijn said that there is an experiment out there, but he's waiting to get it from John, because John told him that he's seen it, and he's also confirmed that he did it in that. Well, it was available in the 1990s. So there is a claim out there, and Anon just wants to see the proof of that.
Okay.
And he's asking the two people
that?
that may be able to get him that information,
Sure.
primarily Arwijn and then Quantum Eraser, to provide that proof. And that's all I'm intersecting for, is to say that I see that Anon just wants this
I heard.
proof.
Yeah, we heard you.
Thank
and
you.
you could
Can I
piss
respond
off
to it
too,
now?
right, Ranty?
Hold
Let
on.
me ask him a question first. Well, let me ask him a question first, Nathan.
No, provide your proof.
Can
Before
you
you
just
get him.
respond to him, please?
Let me ask you a question.
Just
Ranty, did
respond
you
to
give
him.
Anon the link to this hangout?
I don't care about that. Admin can wait. I just want to respond in the regards to this experiment. Yes, he wants an experiment. The problem, Ranty, is that the experiment he wants in no way, shape or form validates the question he's asking. The double slit experiment doesn't confirm or deny the existence of waves as light. The understanding...
It might further his own
I'm not getting a chance to respond, it seems. I'm just getting rumpused. I don't know why, but I am. Responding concisely and coherently to the question you've asked, Ranty. So, even if I give him what he wants, it won't confirm, validate, or invalidate in any way, shape, or form that light is or is not a wave. However, the construct of the experiment and the descriptions of what is occurring are mathematical. And I can explain that. He just has to understand it.
But in order to do any type of research, you need to have a...
Add on.
Hang on, Arwijn. In order to get any kind of research done, you need to have a list of things that you need to go through and get from point A to point B. And I think Anon is quite correct in asking for this. Whether or not it proves his point, he can then take this information away, process it, come back with a better argument. So I still believe that this information needs to be provided to Anon, seeing as it's been made as a claim.
Yeah, can I respond to that? Yeah.
Can I respond to?
Well, no, Ranty, hold on. I just want to respond to Ranty. The information, as I've just tried to explain, scaling up the particulate matter that passes through the double slit doesn't in any way actually affirm, beyond the description itself, it won't make any difference if he sees it. It's not going to change the description of what's occurring in the experiment, because they're not trying to validate the question he's asking. So it makes no difference if he sees it or not.
That's
I
correct.
just agreed with you on that.
Can I interject something now? What it will do, however, it won't prove light is a wave or not a wave, right? Because that's not the experiment. But what it will do is get this nagging habit out of Anon's head that wave functions can only be caused by literal waves. Because, well, a particle of matter is clearly not a wave. So that'll make it a lot easier to slap that over his face and get that ridiculous assertion out of the way.
Well, the only person that can help with this issue is Quantum Eraser, and he's here right now. And you've been waiting for this evidence, Arwijn. Anon's been waiting for this evidence. Have you got it there, John?
What evidence?
Piss off.
What are you talking about? What
have
evidence?
You got it?
Piss off.
Huh.
Let me ask you another question.
Would you
What
like?
evidence?
Would you like? I assume by this that
Piss off, you clown. I'm tired of listening to you.
Going on?
You're the dumbest person on the planet.
Hello?
You don't
What's
need to
going
do
on?
this.
Why is there
Make
suddenly
it sound like
chaos?
a
Hello?
If you haven't got the
Hello?
proof, you're
Why
full
is there
of
suddenly
shit.
chaos?
Piss
What's
off
going on?
yourself.
Yeah, your
I was
sister
here
doesn't
before you,
mind.
Barface.
Guys,
Your sister
in
doesn't
the G
mind.
plus. Hello? Why is there suddenly chaos? Ranty's just
Because
claimed this. Ranty's
I'm
just
asking
claimed we're
for
waiting
his
on it.
proof.
Fuck you.
Can you both
even know the
calm down,
question.
please? I'm trying to
You
get a
don't even know
sentence
the
out.
question,
lied about
clown.
it.
You're
You don't
both
have it.
being really disorderly. Can I just try and get my sentence out? Thank you. Ranty's claimed we're waiting on an experiment, and I've just gone to great lengths to explain that even if we had it, the experiment that's being performed doesn't validate or invalidate the question being asked. Ergo, it's not really very useful, but you're now doubling down saying we need to see this experiment.
I want to see it. If you show it to me, I'll
Talking to
shut the
Ranty.
fuck up.
Yeah, because Ranty covers
Talking
it.
to
Anon and Ranty. I have
Talking
piped
to
up about the
Ranty.
same
Why am I hearing
issue,
4
and
people?
I've tried to
Why
point
am I
out
hearing
that
4
Anon,
people?
You were probably slightly off the mark,
Because
which is
you know
why I
why?
was
You're not
glad
Ranty.
to
I
join
want
the
to
show
see
the
it.
first
Hello,
day
Now
that
I'm
I
I
asking
want
joined
to
it
see
in
it.
the
Ranty. Why am
first
I
place,
hearing
nothing-
4
and I would
people?
hate to have bad
Hello?
news, because I love
Shut
everyone
up.
on the panel.
Shut
but I
up.
Eli.
Hello.
Eli.
Shut up! I'm talking to Ranty by name. I've explained, Ranty, that the
Yeah, but
experiment
now
doesn't...
I want to see it. Now I want to see it. Now I want to see it, as well as Anon and as well as Arwijn. We all three want to see this information.
Okay, for what purpose?
Just
Why?
because now it's pissing me off that John is telling me to piss off and he doesn't want to provide the information. That tells me he's lying or has something to hide about it. And now I want to know about it.
Okay. What exactly is it that you want to know? What's the information you're hoping
Arwijn, tell him what you need, please.
I'm asking you, Ranty.
He doesn't even know.
I'm asking. None of this has nothing to do with that. I want Arwijn to concisely say what he's been asking you for 3 months for.
You said
Ranty doesn't
you
know
want
what he
it
wants.
now. Hold on, QE. You said really abruptly over and over again, you want it now. You want this information.
Yes, I do.
What information?
I want Arwijn to rewind Quantum Eraser right now, exactly what he's been asking him for the past 3 months.
I'm asking you, Ranty. Ranty.
Never mind asking me that. I want him to... Don't change it around on me.
You're the one who asked.
Don't be a cunt. Don't be a fucking cunt.
Why are you getting so triggered?
Because you are now trying to defend Quantum Eraser on the slide.
No, I'm not asking. I've told him to shut up.
To specifically mention exactly what it is that
I've
I'm
told
asking
him
for.
to shut up
This
so
is
I can speak to
Arwijn's
you, and you're just getting
information
mad.
that he wants, and
It's
Anon's
nuts, Ranty. I don't get it.
information that he wants. So provide it, John.
Let me know when you're done. I am trying to have a conversation with you, Ranty. You, not Arwijn, not QE.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'm trying to ascertain what information you're trying to acquire. You.
The buckyballs.
The experiment from the 1990s.
Yeah, for what? And what are you hoping to get? What information do you want from it?
It's been a claim. I want to see the information.
What information?
I want to see the citation. I want to see the proof of the experiment.
What is the information you want?
let me
Why am I hearing someone else's voice? Is that Anon? What a shock. I'll say it again. I'm talking to Ranty, who's piped up. I want it. I want the information.
Well,
this
yeah,
information's important.
Now I know what. Now I want to understand why he's not giving it to Arwijn for 3 months.
Giving
but
what?
He's still parroting that it's out there. He's
Giving
still
what?
He said it before.
You're
that it's
just
still
ignoring
out there.
me and talking non-stop. You're doing the same trick as bloody unorthodox earlier.
Well, you know what it is that I'm asking for.
Try again.
So why are you asking me to remind me again what it is that I'm asking him for?
Because I don't know what you're asking for.
What, you've forgotten yourself, have you?
You're the one asking, not me. That's why I'm trying to find out what you're asking for. I want this information. I want it now, is what you said. So what do you want?
So wait a minute. So you're going to tell me that you can remember everything else that we've argued about in the past, but you can't remember exactly what I'm asking for now. Is this what you're telling me? To defend.
Let me answer and see if you constantly talk through me, Ranty. We'll find out how triggered you are if I try and answer.
I'm looking for?
No, you are very triggered because I'm trying to answer and you're talking through me, Ranty.
Proof of an experiment.
So when I've asked you to tell me, what's happening is he's asked me to tell him what he's asking for. So it seems like he's got something to say. He's going to keep talking through me, just like globeheads do.
Yeah. So you want to know exactly what it is. I want to see an experiment that John has said is out there that shows a diffraction pattern created by particles. Is that concise enough for you?
No, because that's not an experiment that exists and not the purpose of that experiment.
John has told...
Ranty, please can I respond without you interrupting me, Ranty? Is that a possibility? I know you're very, very triggered, but I'd like to respond unimpeded. Please.
It's all right. Now, the audience is seeing this, John and Nathan.
What, you not letting me talk for more than half a breath?
Go ahead and talk, Nathan.
I don't need your permission. I need you to stop talking through me when I start talking.
Go ahead and talk, Nathan.
I don't need your permission. I'll say it 4 more times.
I'll ask the question 10 more times then. Why is John refusing to hand over the experiment to Arwijn?
Can somebody be sure to share this link with Trolls versus Trolls so they can just document how triggered Ranty is?
Triggered because John is sitting there hiding behind the fact that he's full of bullshit.
So the experiment that you're asking for earlier, I tried to explain that it doesn't give you that outcome. This validity for particles to defeat a particle wave duality is not going to be attained by scaling at the double slit experiment. I have explained that to you already. Ergo, showing Anon the experiment won't achieve that outcome. Now, what will it?
I agreed with you.
And you're interrupting me. And what I have also tried to explain to him is that the principles that are used within the experiment to derive the wave function could only exist if you were dealing with particles, i.e. the impacts, their likelihood, and the wave function derivative that you get mathematically when you're calculating the probability distribution of the impacts, not waves, impacts of particles. So if he was to understand that, and you're still interrupting me.
I'm sorry, but it's a straw man, Nathan, and I'll tell you for why. Because
I haven't finished talking, Ranty. Ranty, please stop interrupting me, Ranty. Ranty, I'm trying to detail it. Ranty, I'm trying to detail an experiment that you didn't know what you needed from it, and when you told me what you required from it, the experiment didn't have that, and I've already explained that to you. Take a breath. Anon simply refuses to find out where wave function was derived from. We've been telling him for 9 months straight. Now we've moved on to Arwijn trying to... There he goes again. Moved on to Arwijn trying a different angle, which is to say you can scale up the experiment to things that are bigger than the single thing you've got this misconception about wave-particle duality in. Now again, even if he shows him the scaled-up version, the experiment's not addressing wave-particle duality. It's a tenet of the actual experiment that could only exist if you had particles. You couldn't derive wave function if you didn't. But he doesn't understand that derivative in maths and refuses to look into it, says over and over again that he's not interested, and is now demanding that QE provides an experiment that will not in no way address it for being scaled up.
May I actually? No, hang on, wait.
It's a different issue though, because
may I actually, Jesus Christ,
for that, but it's separate.
Right. So when Anon specifically asked Quantum Eraser not 15 minutes ago about bucketballs in the 1990s, right? He said that experiment was done back in the 1990s. Yeah, because this is the argument they are having, and now we're asking for proof of that.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
asking
not
for
the
proof.
argument.
Try
He
once more.
explained it to
I
you. You
don't
twice.
hold on.
care.
He explained it to you
Make a
twice.
claim.
I'm trying to
Claim
keep
explained it to you
hello.
twice.
by
I'm
your
trying to
own
keep
retard.
Ranty
by
calm.
your
Don't
own-
get it.
Hello?
You're right. It isn't
Hello?
the argument.
By your own
Dialogue.
rules.
Two
By
people,
your own
not
rules.
five.
to be
Hello,
resolved.
idiots.
By your own
Two people,
rules, QE.
not five. Just me
By-
and Ranty. Thank you.
By QE's own rules, it is claim, and then you provide the evidence.
Okay.
Claim, evidence. Claim,
No problem.
evidence. There is
No
a
problem.
claim out there.
Okay,
I want
heard.
to see the evidence.
Say
By
it five.
QE's
Okay, Ranty,
own-
say it 16 more times. Go on. Spit it out 16 more times. I didn't hear the first 5.
Right, good, because I've said it 50 now, and I just don't seem to be getting anything from Quantum Eraser. He's hiding.
Okay. So, was it Quantum Eraser making the claim that the scaling of a buckyballs proves or disproves wave particle duality in a debate between Arwijn and Anon?
That is not what I'm asking.
Well, you've said
I'm
that
asking
somehow QE needs to justify this claim because what?
Quantum Eraser claimed it in this show, not 20 minutes
Arwijn,
ago.
please, Ranty, can you take a breath?
He claimed it here 20 minutes ago
Ranty,
when he was
please
asked
can you
about
take
it. And
a
he
breath?
said it was done in the
Ranty,
1990s.
I'm trying to subtly say you're very triggered and coming off very badly as you continually
No, I'm not.
interrupt me.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming off bad here, Nathan, because I'm just asking, because Quantum Eraser brought up 1990s. If anybody heard that, that was from Quantum Eraser's own mouth. He then puts himself in a position where he is also agreeing that this happened. And so now we want to see the proof. Very simple.
Why?
Arwyn's been asking for him from
Proof-
Quantum Eraser for the past few
let
months.
me know when you're done.
I haven't
Let me know when you're
finished.
done.
Let me finish. This is exactly what you do. You take a breath and then somebody says something and you say, oh, I'm being interrupted. Well, no, I was literally taking a breath there when you started to talk and then say that I'm rumpusing you. Right. So Arwyn's been asking Quantum Eraser for the past few months for this information because Anon and him have been going at it. Quantum Eraser says it's out there. Arwyn believes him. Arwyn believes him so much that he says it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. There's proof it's absolutely out there because John said so. And then John confirms it today on this very show. And then I say, let's see this information. And we are still waiting 20 minutes later for this information. Whether or not it's going to prove anything in any shape or form, but just the fact that the information is out there and the experiment and proof is out there, that's all. Whatever somebody does with it, whether they go and wipe it on their arse, I don't care. Now I just want to see it, and I'm sure everybody else wants to just see this because people have been arguing about this, and John has not been actually very forthcoming in providing the information, even though he specifically agreed and he mentioned 1990 not 20 minutes ago, proving that he knows about this test or experiment that was out there that he's been telling Arwyn is out there, right? Now, you've seen how it went down yesterday. Arwyn got very triggered over this, right? And this is the issues that we're having, is if the Quantum Eraser is saying something and Arwyn believes him and then the information actually isn't there, right? Then Arwyn has already been spending months going down the wrong path looking at something that he should, or looking for information that isn't there. Right, so I would like to see from Quantum Eraser to back his claim, back his proof, back his evidence, and sort it out once and for all. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go on mute right now, and then it's going to be up to the audience to decide whether Quantum Eraser provides that or hides away. I'm going on mute.
Just a couple of questions though, Ranty, rather than you having an end the Star Tribe and then shutting down. What information does QE is responsible for providing? What information exactly? And why is he responsible for providing it?
If I may respond,
Not
that
you,
the
no, I
buckyball
want to know.
experiment was... No,
Arwyn,
he's on mute.
Arwyn, I want to know from Ranty, who's just had an endless diatribe. It's not reasonable that he should just get to spew and then not address any questions that I've got. So
I was the one originally doing the inquiry.
don't care,
right? Why are you
Arwyn,
talking
please.
about me?
Arwyn, so let's have a little segue because Arwyn's decided it's his turn to talk. No, Arwyn, I'd like to address what has just been charged at QE by Ranty. So what exactly has QE claimed that he needs to back up? Okay, it's not his
Experiment
claim.
in the 90s.
But, okay,
Wait.
it's Arwyn, fucking hell. Arwyn's made a claim in debate with Anon. Now, if I take some piece of information from a library book and don't read it all the way through, or go out and get all of the citations and references and double check them, or if there's an experiment, do it myself for the sake of argument, is it the book's fault that I go into a debate without all the information to hand for me to debate with? Do I then go and shout at the book? No. Is it the book's responsibility to educate me about the information I'm going to go out and debate with? No, it's not. Likewise, it is absolutely sod all to do with Quantum Eraser what Arwyn chooses to do with information he's got from Quantum Eraser. He might choose to go out and research it for endless hours so he can win a debate with the information. He might decide that that information is too limited to go forth and debate with. But should he go forth and debate with it, it's not fucking Quantum Eraser's problem. He hasn't got to do anything. So you piping up and demanding from him, Ranty, that he's got to do something now is complete horse shit. Especially when you don't even know what you're asking for. And what you do ask for isn't the experiment that's being demanded of QE when he hasn't claimed it. Arwyn has. It's not his problem, mate. So I don't know why you think you're in a position to pipe up and demand stuff of QE. Who the hell are you?
All right, I'm gonna insert myself here for a little second. I guess I'll just not take Quantum Eraser's word for anything ever again, because apparently it's a disgrace if I then eventually demand some kind of evidence for that specific, narrow down, not involved in anything else specifically you necessarily claim. I guess
just a quick
that's
question,
Ranty's
Arwyn.
point. And
Sure.
you seem to strawman the
Very
point.
good advice. Yes, very good advice. Don't just take people at their word. Totally agree. How much research have you actually done on buckyballs?
Right. Well, I'm just not going to mention it again. I'm just going to give Anon his apparent win that I can't rebuttal because I'm not being handed the evidence in order to attempt this because of technical issues, and it's my claim and that.
No, my question was, how much research, given that you found out about buckyballs, did you do on them?
Well, I even heard about the concept 20 years ago, so it's not like the first time I've heard about it. It's just I've never actually been provided any actual visual related. Like, here is a photograph of the plate it was done with. Here is the statistics concerning that and how the decision was made. I've never been able to see that, and I've asked for it before. Okay, and that's the problem. And I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the actual evidence that it was actually done beyond any conceptualization. It was just declared.
How much time did you spend researching it yourself, as opposed to asking someone else for their information on it?
Well, I'm assuming that Quantum Eraser, since he's always so solid about
deflecting,
providing evidence
deflecting this
for
onto
claims.
Quantum Eraser.
Arwyn. He can then, by his own standards, provide the evidence for it.
Arwyn, can I just get a
No,
word
I'm
in?
not-
Sorry,
I'm
guys,
not
can I just
Quantum
try
Eraser.
and talk to Arwyn? I know he's going to do the same that Ranty did to me and talk through every fucking word. So, given that you found a bit of information out from QE, is it now his responsibility to educate you in every fine detail about buckyballs and the scaling up of the Quantum Eraser, the double slit experiment? Is that his responsibility now?
Well, it would show some character consistency.
So you think, in your deluded, privileged mind, that it's his responsibility to now educate you in that subject matter? Wow, Arwyn, really?
Well, he makes claims for it.
Proof,
He makes
man.
claims for it.
Come
I
on.
don't care if he educates it. It's just that if you say,
Cowbell.
like, yeah, you're gonna have to do it yourself, but he also uses it in his arguments. That's the problem.
Oh, and when he does, and let's say someone beats him, and he's happened to have cited, say, Karl Popper, and he loses an argument, does he go and knock on his door and say, "Oi, why didn't you educate me on this analogy better? You told me about this analogy. It's your responsibility now to educate me on this." Or maybe go to Feynman and do the same. Feynman, you told me this little detail in one of your lectures one day. What about all this other stuff? It's now your charge to keep me educated on it in case I debate it. Is that how it works, Arwyn?
No.
So it's fuck
where you're
all.
going. This is
Fuck
very
all responsibility of QE's then to make sure you're kept up to speed on this stuff then. Not his problem.
Okay. Well,
So just out of interest,
uphold QE by his own standards. That's all.
His standards? No, this is you in debate with someone else. It's not his standards, it's your standards. The fact that you're now charging him with having not told you has led Ranty to have a massive moan at him, like somehow he's now in charge of giving you all this information and is somehow guilty of not giving it and should be demanded to give it because you've lost a debate in this regard because you didn't research it afterwards. Therefore, it's the guilt of the person that told you a bit of information in the first place. That's what's happening here.
It has nothing to do with my debate with Anon yesterday.
You're saying you weren't kept up to date.
That in there. It has nothing to do with that.
Sorry. You're saying you weren't kept up to speed. Your underling QE didn't give you the information that you charged him with. You delegated out to him this research. Oh, my bad. You're not his fucking boss. You're not going to be delegating shit to him. In fact, the fact that you have so little respect for QE is beyond... It's just deplorable. The fact that you've got that level of respect that it can permeate out to Ranty to then demand of this man who has educated you so much that he should be giving us this information. It's just downright irresponsible to not give it us. How dare you? Do you two have any fucking idea how arrogant you are? How dare you? You both need to feel ashamed.
That's a really frustrating because it's not about that at all. Has nothing to do with it. Any of it. I don't know why you're going off into this tenure. It's ridiculous.
Because it's outrageous. Someone gives you some information.
It's not outrageous. It
what
has
should
to do
be
nothing
doing.
to do with him educating me or my
is.
demands. It has to do with him saying things.
Next time someone educates you, Arwijn. Next time someone educates you, Arwijn. Yeah, get triggered. Just do exactly the same as Ranty did. Get very, very triggered. Go on.
You're triggered. You're
I'm not in the slightest bit triggered. I'm annoyed at the arrogance of you two.
I'm going to get out of here. I'm really disappointed at you, Nathan.
You won't shut up.
You're going this far.
You won't shut up.
Yeah, you won't.
You let me know when you're done. Get it out, all out, like Ranty did. And then go on mute and never respond. Or disappear completely.
Let QE get on here and spit and tell us. Stop white knighting
So, excuse me, I don't mind white knighting for him. And when he educates me, do you know what I say? Thank you.
Well, this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting to be educated, Nathan.
Oh, right.
Plenty of times, and I give him a lot of credit.
Feeds you bullshit.
Oh, sorry, my bad. It's your delegation for the education you require and the information he should be out sorting for you, Ranty, hasn't come in a timely fashion. I'd sack him, mate. Oh, my bad, he isn't your fucking employee.
Well, Arwijn's only been... Well, how about when somebody comes on, a Globe comes on, and you ask for evidence, if they don't provide evidence within 2 minutes, you're calling them out.
I do.
Yeah, you do. So I'm calling QE out.
Oh, so he made a claim, did he? Didn't we just go through
this? People are saying it in the chat that he's made it.
Let's see if we can have it with Ranty again, because he's now talking through when it's a devastating question. Devastating question, so it's time to talk through Nathan. It's just like the fundies. I'm asking a devastating question, so Ranty's going to talk non-stop. So, Ranty, what claim did QE make exactly?
Buckyballs in the 1990s were proved. Quote from here no more than 30 minutes ago in this very show.
In defence of an argument that Anon was having with Arwijn. He brought up buckyballs, did he? QE.
Arwijn brought it up with...
Arwijn brought it up? Oh, my bad. So not QE then. So it seems like, again, verbal diatribe that I am going to mute because these people, like Ranty's just called me, are cunts when they're being shown to be completely unreasonable and wankers. Ranty, just like any normal human being, which is why the globeheads aren't shills. Ranty's no fucking different. He's talking right through every word I say right now. Doesn't realise I've stuck him on mute because he's an asshole. And I don't want to get triggered listening to his nonsense diatribe, total unreasonableness over the top of me. I'm just going to point out that he hasn't brought up anything. QE's not done anything. He's not made any claims. He's not used buckyballs as a defence of anything. He happens to have given Arwijn some information, and Arwijn has turned around and basically said, well, it's then his responsibility to make sure I know every single aspect of this particular subject in case it comes up in debate. And am I to be defeated in debate with this information? I'm going to charge you with the failure, and your failure to keep me up to date with it. Yeah? So that's what's basically happening here. I'm very disappointed in my co-hosts, my other panel members, in their total arrogance. And while I'm being completely rumpus tall shit by Ranty, I'm going to say I am personally very grateful to QE and wouldn't dare be so arrogant as to demand that he gives me further information. I might ask him kindly once in a while if he's prepared to give it me. But demanding it like this is just bloody outrageous.
It up. Quantum Eraser brought it up. He brought it up, Nathan, not 30 minutes ago. So I'm asking him, in the 1990s to show that proof. It's very simple. Don't white knight for him. Let him answer himself.
That was the rudest thing I've ever seen you do, Ranty.
Well, I'm sorry. I was halfway through. So I'd only got 2 words out and he interrupted me.
It doesn't matter. You should.
I'm
have
not
more
being treated
voice.
like I'm not being treated like a cunt on here. When I'm halfway through speaking, saying something to get interrupted so rudely. When all we're asking for is one of our own to show us some information that he has been parroting around as being proof. It's very simple. If he doesn't have it, just hold your hands up and say, I don't have it.
He hasn't made a claim,
very
Ranty.
simple.
He hasn't made a claim. He hasn't made a claim, Ranty. He just won't ever shut up to hear this. Ranty's got verbal diarrhea. Whoever's talking, now it's Arwijn. Of course, it's double team. Double team time.
Double speak now. Oh,
shut
wow.
up. I'm trying to
really
talk.
piling on
I've been
slander
rumpus
here
non-stop
all of
by
a sudden,
bloody
are you?
Arwijn, and now I'm getting
Getting
rumpus
all
by
filthy
Ranty, and it won't ever
slanderous
stop.
now, are we,
So
mate?
on my own show, these two cunts have decided I'm not allowed to have a say in my own show. They're going to talk non-stop. Basically, never allow my responses. Now they're talking over me again. Of course. Well, that's not reasonable, so obviously I'm going to shut their line down so I can be heard. These two bastards are totally unreasonable in their demands of a man that's trying to educate them, taking out his own time and effort to do so, and upon being defeated by an argument, they think it's reasonable to demand a better education from that man. It's not their employees, under no obligation. The fact that he's given them any information to go out and brush up on themselves is absolutely up to them. The fact that they don't want to do it and want to charge him with their failures is totally and utterly unreasonable.
Fire.
May I have a nice chat with QE, please?
No. I don't know why Rumpus number 1, Ranty, and Rumpus number 2, Arwijn, have forced me to shut down their line every time I want to speak.
Just let me chat with QE. That's it. Just me and QE.
I'm
very
pretty
calm,
disgusted
very
with
calm.
Ranty and Arwijn. They don't want to hear it, so they both talk over me the moment I start trying to actually communicate it with them, rather than the audience alone, because they won't let me communicate it with them. They just talk through me.
Disappointed in what, Nathan? In asking Quantum Eraser to provide some cowbell?
But what claim? What claim did QE make?
QE told Arwijn.
Right.
Told him.
No, you're
told
asking
him.
the wrong damn
Pokeballs in the
questions.
1990s.
That's why I haven't been able
Who's
to add
interrupting
anything
me
in
now?
this whole time. I'm so upset.
Elijah, do you think you're helping, mate?
Oh, it's not him.
Do you think you're helping, Elijah? No, you're not.
So if Quantum Eraser has been telling this Arwijn for the past few months and he's been using this argument against Anon, and then when I bring it up and mention Quantum Eraser and Quantum Eraser agrees that this experiment is out there, yeah, it was proved in the 1990s, and I simply say, well, show me that then, Quantum Eraser. This is me asking Quantum Eraser for his proof that he mentioned on this show 30 minutes ago, Nathan.
Yeah, he's not using it in...
Forget Arwijn, forget Anon.
Yeah, see, I'm not allowed to respond. I'm not allowed to respond. See, this asshole, he's calling me a cunt left and right, but he just won't shut up. He's not making an argument using that proof. Arwijn is. So it's Arwijn's responsibility to back his own proof with evidence. Now, while QE might have cited it to Arwijn, that doesn't make it QE's responsibility. That's where you're confused. But you're charging him like it's his responsibility. It's not.
He said it in this show 30 minutes ago.
So
and
what?
Agreed it was out there.
So what?
I'm asking for it.
Why? To prove what? I asked this earlier. What information?
I just want to have it.
I'm still talking, Ranty. We went through this earlier. I asked you over, and you're still doing it again. You're interrupting me again. Why are you calling me a cunt when you're not letting me get a sentence out? You've just charged me 2 minutes ago with talking all over you. Now you're doing it. A projection, mate.
No, because you're...
Yeah, no, I just need you to shut up. I just need a chance to respond. I just need a chance to respond.
I don't need a reason to ask.
I just need a chance to respond, and I'm not getting one. You're being totally unreasonable.
No, you're white knighting for Quantum Eraser here. And it's very evident for the whole... Everybody's seeing this, Nathan. And we just want to see the proof. Why are you doing this? Why don't you just say, yeah, there's a claim out there, show your proof? Because you do it to everybody else, but when it's Quantum Eraser and it's clear that he doesn't have it, you're white knighting for him so badly, and it's very, very poor, Nathan.
Have what?
I'm going. I'm out of here.
You're rage quitting, are you? Got your little diatribe out and now you're going to piss off rather than face any of my questions, Ranty. Questions that you will just talk through non-stop or run away like a little coward. He is under no obligation or responsibility to back Arwijn's claims. If Arwijn wants to back something he's heard from a third party, it doesn't become the third party's responsibility to back what becomes Arwijn's claim. He has to back it. Unfortunately, he hasn't, and has then charged QE with the responsibility for his failure. Well, it's not QE's problem. Now, the fact that he's gone, yeah, there is a buckyball experiment in the 90s, that doesn't then transfer responsibility for that debate and proving that claim onto QE. Yeah, there is. Well, I don't have to do anything. He hasn't got to do a damn thing. He's not having the argument. He keeps saying, I'm not having this argument, because he's done the same thing I have for the last 8 or 9 months, which you say to Anon, go and find out where wave function has been derived from. Making this necessity for a non-experiment in this regard redundant. It's not needed. You don't need the experiment on account of the fact that that's not proving or disproving wave-particle duality. It's got sod all to do with it. So what's he going to do? Run around because you've demanded? Who's interrupting me now? Who's that? Oh, of course, it's Anon. Yeah, Anon. When you plead to get yourself put back in Master B, do you think I'm going to let you when you're interrupting me like the other two cunts who've been interrupting me this entire show? Knowing to shut your fucking mouth. Yeah, now they're fucked off, I actually get to talk unimpeded and you think you're going to interrupt me, do you, asshole?
This is your show, man. I'm not...
Yes, so shut up!
Okay, I'll go on mute.
When you get kicked out of Master B, Anon, I will not be there white knighting for you to get put back in. QE on the other hand, I'll white knight all day for him. Yeah, 90% of my information's come from him. You don't think I'm going to defend him? Of course I am. Arwijn's information that his gripe is because he's got information. Yeah, I think he should be saying thank you. Not moaning that he hasn't got enough of it out of him. Oh, right. Oh, that's how it works, is it? Someone gives you a bit of information and you'd be damn sure you're going to give it all of them. That's valuable information. Yeah, people pay a lot of money for information. But because he said something that's true, you say, no, you must back it immediately. Someone else has taken that information and argued with it, and they haven't got the entirety of the information. Well, maybe QE spent years and years researching it, and now holds it as valuable information. He's reluctant to just give up because you demand it of him. Like you're his boss. Who the hell do you people think you are? Have some bloody respect.
Asking for a cowbell.
Was he debating with you? When he debated with you, he told you to go and find out what wave function was, having presented it to many audiences Anon, over and over again. We've done, me personally, with him, has done presentations on that subject. I know about it. You just say I don't care. What, you think we should extend you respect? You can't be asked to do your due diligence. You don't go away and research any of the stuff that QE tells you. You don't go and do your due diligence. You expect to be spoon-fed it like Arwijn. When you're not spoon-fed it in the manner you expect it, shut up! You dumb fuck! Are you that fucking stupid after I've told you that I don't want you interrupting me? And the fact that you are means I have no sympathy for you when people kick you out of this group? Shut your mouth! I'm telling you that you spastics need spoon-feeding. Yeah? You've got absolutely no respect for the people that are actually taking their time out of their day to give you this information, of their goodwill. Yeah? I'd prefer you said thank you to QE, not demand he gives you more. Oh, thank you very much for that juicy, yummy information. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, that ran out quickly. Poison? Give me more! How dare you not give it me now? Who the fuck do you people think you are?
Bullshit.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm telling you what he's telling me is bullshit, so I'm not eating it. I'm asking him.
Yeah, because you've done your due diligence, have you? Mr. I can't be asked to go and find out where wave functions derive from. Because you're a lazy piece of shit. You are lazy. I've told you. That's what I told you when you joined. You're lazy. I can't be bothered with that. You're lazy.
I'm not. Let me.
Yeah, you are. You are. You, Ranty, and Arwijn, in this regard, are all lazy. You can't be asked to go and do the extra research. You've heard something juicy, and then rather than doing the due diligence and research required to form your own coherent arguments, you go out with the tiny sliver of information you've been given by somebody considerably more information rich than yourself, and then when your limited information you've been given by someone else fails because you haven't got an expansive knowledge of it, you blame him. The fucking arrogance level is off the scale.
He's giving me bullshit. The only thing that can cause diffraction is...
Oh, shut the fuck up, you stupid moron. You are dumb as all shit. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat. I don't think I've read out any super chats. I should really do that now. Let's do that. Hold on 1 second. So a massive shout out of appreciation to... Where the hell are my super chats? Here we go. Big Mac Miller Lite. You're all huge homo get wads and failed internet edgelords. Thank you very much for the super chat, Big Mac Miller Lord. Really appreciate your support. Also, Elijah Freeman. This is the consequence of asking the wrong questions, Anon. Right on. You're trying to get that in the show, Freeman. I'm really sorry. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat. Also, Brandon Toy. Massive shout out of appreciation. None of us above any others. All respect QE. But he's due for any... Let's see if I can find that up. It's scrolling past. Bear with me. None of us is above any others. All respect to QE, but he's not due any favoured treatment. Totally disagree, Brandon. I think I owe quite a lot, actually. Nevertheless, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live on the Nathan Oakley Premiering stream. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 Premiering stream, as there'll be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Diffraction limit. I just want to know, can someone define diffraction for me? If you want, I can look it up.
Interference.
Interference of what? Can you actually read the definition?
There's no difference. The two things are essentially the same. Interference, diffraction, diffraction, interference. Same thing.
No. Interference of what?
Of anything you're describing. So it could be the diffraction limit, i.e. the point that you reach interference based on perspective and angular resolution. It could be a pattern on a wall when you run a light through a double slit, i.e. a diffraction pattern. Well, those two things are just interference that you're seeing. An interference pattern or interference of light not being resolvable. It could be in multitudes of different forms. It's just interference.
Diffraction refers to various phenomena that occur when a wave encounters an obstacle or a slit. A wave. Wave of what?
Where the hell are you getting this from?
You can look it up. Just define right here. This is the dictionary's definition. Noun. A process by which a beam of light or any other system of wave is spread out as a result of passing through a narrow aperture. It's without wave, you have no diffraction. Period. It's an antecedent, Nathan. You're very well aware of what antecedent is. So why do you try to avoid it? I get it. You want to avoid it.
I've no idea what you're babbling about.
Diffraction.
I've no idea what that dictionary definition's babbling about either.
Okay, just define. Just type in Google define diffraction, and just.
Why? I already know what diffraction is.
Okay, and it's an infraction. It's an interference of waves. Here's another definition: dictionary: a phenomena exhibited by wave fronts. Another Webster: modification of light. Let's see.
That must not agree with you. That's why you got quiet.
No, I had to click on it. Diffraction is a process by which light waves break up into dark and light bands, just like in my kitchen, or onto colors of spectrum.
Where's that from?
So it's just a dictionary, your dictionary. Just look up Webster. Just look up Merriam-Webster. Is that a good enough dictionary? Let me pull up Webster. Hold on.
We're talking. You're talking colloquial definitions from dictionaries, and we're talking about scientific. Of course, first few fucking words out.
Okay, I'll go mute.
Talking about colloquial definitions in dictionaries when we're talking about a scientific experiment.
So you want me to look in a scientific dictionary? Let me see if I can find it.
When you're performing experimentation, you have to define everything quite rigorously. In fact, it's true in almost all circumstances. Everything must be defined rigorously.
I agree.
So, try not to look at a colloquial definition.
This is not a colloquial. The only thing that you need a system of wave in order to have a diffraction pattern. It's an antecedent. Without it, you don't have it. I was on mute.
Mute yourself, fool.
My wife's getting mad that I'm talking to you guys. What's up? I gotta go.
Okay, in a bit.
But anyway, it's an antecedent, and Nathan, without
Whatever.
waves, you're not gonna have a diffraction pattern. Simple as that.
Whatever. So what the hell was that all about with Arwijn and Ranty?
They understand what I'm saying. So
I
does
thought you
Dr.
had to
John.
go. I
So
thought you
does-
had to go.
I don't.
Oh. Well, who called you a fool?
So is Anthony. Anthony was also asking questions about waves. I mean, come on, man. Don't be a laggard, Nathan. Don't be the last one. Paul
Nathan's
and
the laggard. You're
Chancellor
the
will
one
be
who
last
hasn't researched anything, won't look into it because you know it's not true.
I know it's not true.
You can call somebody a laggard when you can't even research for 9 months the thing that was asked of you. So what? We got to be
That's like
here
me
waiting
asking
to
you
give
to
it
go
to you
research
whenever you
space-time.
ask.
Did you go research space time?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking 10th.
I got to research everything you say, Anon. When someone directed it
Bingo.
to you directly, if someone asked me to research something directly, I would have.
Oh, okay.
You were asked directly, and now you're throwing it on me as if I had to go research something no one asked me to.
Well, clearly you know about it because you're arguing for them. So you should already know
No,
this.
so I see how you just changed everything there. We're talking
didn't
about
change anything.
someone asking me something, and then I refuse to go research it when I say it's important to me. That's what you did. Now you're saying I did that.
So, given that you'd say you have a good understanding now that light is definitely a wave, Anon, if I asked you a couple of questions about light as a wave, would you be able to answer them?
I'll try my best.
Okay. When they describe light with a certain wavelength, how do they derive that?
It's the same question you always ask me. So, like, laser will have like 50 nanometers. That's what is that? When they say 50 nanometers of light, what is that nanometers? That's a separation of each cycle, each hertz, right? It's the peaks and the troughs. So when you say a light with 50 nanometers, that's the wave. That's the separation between the up and the trough and the peak.
That's what it would look like.
That is.
Without
Without a wave, you're not going to have nanometers of light.
Nanometers?
Or a frequency. Every frequency needs a wave.
Frequency?
You're not going to...
Okay.
That's right.
So
Light
what
frequency.
And frequency is how often something occurs, correct?
It's how not something occurs. I guess, that's a colloquial definition, but in terms of frequency
not
of light
colloquial.
and frequency
No,
of,
literal. Literal.
Okay, like when your phone, 950 megahertz. What is that? Megahertz.
Why are you asking me a string of questions? I've asked you where we get that from. How did they...
The peaks and the troughs.
No, that's what it is.
I told you that.
No, that's a description of what it is. Or if you looked at an oscilloscope.
Exactly. That's where they get it.
That's not what I'm asking, though, is it? How did they derive that?
I'm looking at an oscilloscope, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, really? You think that the oscilloscope came first? Did you? Sorry, you think they got? You think that came first? Okay. No, that's not how they derived it. Now I know you haven't looked into this, but you're fumbling and flapping and asking me questions about it now, aren't you? Given that you think light's a wave, Anon, and it's described in that terminology, wouldn't it be prudent to find out how they derived that?
Well, I can see the diffraction pattern that the light creates when it's split. So, just by that, I don't need to pull out a calculator. I don't need to do math functions. I don't need to do wave functions. I don't need to do anything. The diffraction pattern can only be caused by systems of waves
Here we go.
interfering.
Assert the claim.
with
Hasn't
each
got a
other.
fucking clue how to answer, so reassert the claim again after a bit of babbly word salad that didn't make any sense, and then it'll seem like he's answered my question with his babbly word salad and his reassertion of a claim that we've heard fucking 50,000 times. So no, I don't need you to reassert your claim. We already know your stupid fucking claim that you think light's waves. That's not going to work when I ask you where it was derived. When you get wavelengths, and you don't tell me. But like Ranty and Arwijn, you'll talk through me while I point out that you haven't got a vaguest fucking clue, and your word salad didn't give me how it was derived, and you repeating your claim and talking through me is just to tell that you haven't got the vaguest fucking clue how it was derived. If you did, you would absolutely unequivocally know definitely that it wasn't a wave, but you don't want to do that. You want to babble on, reassert your claim, and give me some fucking word salad diarrhea that made absolutely no sense.
I'm sorry it made no sense to you. It makes perfect sense to me. In order to have a diffraction, you need to have a system of waves. Without system
It's more fucking word salad. I asked how wavelength was derived. So we're on to the diatribe of bullshit word salad that means nothing. Doesn't answer my question, doesn't accurately describe how it was derived. You haven't got the fucking clue how it was derived. But you're still babble on bullshit, having declared quite clearly that you have not researched this and cannot answer it. It's the same question I've been asking for 8 months that you can't answer. But you're attempting to with fucking word salad and a repetition of your claim that it absolutely must be waves. And then talking through me endlessly.
This is what you sound like. This is what you guys sound like. It's okay, baby. I gotta drop. Later, guys. Deal with your shit.
Yeah, ad hom. Yeah, that's all you've done. You sound like a child. That's your response. An ad hom fallacy. Yeah, pathetic. Then you'll say you're off so that hopefully you can weasel away, stay on the show and not disappear.
I just want to see what you guys say.
What, with your ad hom calling me a child for pointing out that you still haven't researched how wavelengths were derived, but you'll happily bullshit your way around it for 8 months and just declare your claim again in the answer to that question? That's what you've done. It's pathetic. It's all you've ever done for 8 straight months.
Explain to me.
We have explained to you.
Tell me, enlighten me, enlighten me,
like,
and tell
like
me.
Like with Arwijn and Ranty, while you're now telling me, like I fucking owe you an explanation, that I should now inform you when we already have, and you've hand-waved it, ignored it, and not taken it in. And then when it comes to an awkward question about how light as a wave would work and where it was derived from, you can't answer it. Now, I've already answered you, as has QE, on multiple occasions for that very question. Now, you haven't taken it in. You haven't done your due diligence. You haven't gone away and researched it further. You haven't investigated it in any way, shape or form. And when we ask you a question that would show an expansive knowledge of that question, you say, I don't want to know, and bullshit your way around the subject. And then think that I should educate you, like I owe you an explanation for this subject. No, I don't. Just like QE doesn't owe Ranty or Arwijn an explanation for anything ever.
But we don't have to eat his bullshit without cowbell either.
No, you don't. But you can also sit here with me humiliating you and admirably demonstrating that you don't know where you got wavelengths from. And if light's a wave, wavelength seems something pretty key to that particular little bullshit story you hold to be true. But you won't look into it, and I can prove unequivocally every time I ask you that you haven't looked into it, and that you will lie and bullshit your way around the subject matter like you have got a clue when you're talking about frequencies and oscilloscopes, and how oscilloscopes probably came first. Well, fucktard. So, no, we don't owe you an explanation, shit for brains. You're claiming light's a wave. And when I disprove that fact, yeah, you just bullshit your way around it and talk through me. It's all you've got. And then demand that we educate you like we owe you an education. No, we don't.
That's called indoctrination.
I thought you had to
Number
go.
one.
Clear up the lines,
Number
please.
2.
I thought you had to go.
Two. Wife is okay. She's dealing with some of
Well,
this
then
stuff.
quit promising to leave, all right?
10th, I'm not talking to you. Listen, Nathan, I'm not dealing with wave functions mathematical. Okay, is a wave function mathematical construct? Yes or no?
Why are you asking me questions?
Because we're trying to clear some stuff up and see if we can agree on something. Is a wave function a mathematical construct?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not have to do anything mathematical in order to create the diffraction pattern. Do we know what a diffraction pattern is? The fringe interference pattern? Do you know what that is? It's not a word salad. It's
not a wave.
With the bands.
It's
the high intensity,
pattern.
low intensity.
It's not going to shut up at the end of his question, of course. Tell me when you're done.
I'm done.
It does look a lot like a wave, though, like waves crashing through an opening.
Hold on, man. Let me talk to Nathan, please. The diffraction pattern, the fringe interference, high intensity, low intensity troughs, basically like a little lines. That is a diffraction pattern. Yes or no?
It's not a wave.
Is it a diffraction pattern? Yes or no?
So what? Not
okay.
A wave.
How do you have a diffraction pattern? What causes a diffraction pattern? What is the antecedent to having a diffraction pattern?
I've already told you that as well. A probability of the distribution where each...
No, this is not math.
My bad. 2 sentences, eh? I've already explained that to you, and I'll explain it again now if you don't interrupt me. Yeah? A likelihood of an impact. A probability distribution.
So a mathematical construct. The diffraction pattern on my wall is not a mathematical construct. It's a physical light hitting my kitchen wall.
That's right.
In a diffraction pattern.
Yes, that's correct. And the way you
so
describe
that only
it
can be caused by system of waves. That's it. It's antecedent. You can't get around that. It's done.
It's like wrong, but you won't shut up.
Having a vacuum of space next to a pressurized system.
Yeah, you'll just reassert your claim 16 more fucking times, won't you?
Well, it doesn't.
If you say it endlessly, do you think that makes it more convincing? You shit for brains fucktard. I don't need to hear the claim at the end of your bullshit.
Gas pressure with...
Shut him up. What a fucking asshole. Don't need to hear the claim 16 times at the top of his word salad to make it seem more legit because he says the claim 15 fucking times at the end of every bit of bullshit he makes up. I don't need to hear you say, therefore, light's a wave, light's a wave, light's a wave, light's a wave, light's a wave at the end of every fucking word salad you come out with. No, that's where you're wrong. At the point that you have a diffraction pattern, fuck all to do with waves, diffraction pattern. Yeah? Once you've got that, you can then derive a wave function which is mathematical from your diffraction pattern. So the wave is derived mathematically from your lights on the wall. So the derivative is the mathematical one, not the cause. So it's not that the wave function's causing the pattern, it's you describing the pattern with the mathematics. Now that mathematics is described as, while assholes talk through me, that mathematical description is of a wave function, aka probability distribution. The way the light has been distributed is mathematically described as a wave function. Not caused by a wave, caused by the likelihood of where each part of the light will hit. And you can qualify that likelihood as a statistical probability known as a wave function. Light's not a wave, but you can describe diffraction patterns with wave functions.
No.
Yeah, those are two different uses of the...
Not a function. It's actually a byproduct of actual physical waves interfering.
No.
Period.
Of a wave... You're seeing a diffraction pattern. You're not seeing any waves. No waves are being observed. You keep telling us that you're observing a diffraction pattern on your wall. You're not seeing anything waving. You're just seeing the diffraction pattern.
Yeah, that's the constructive and destructive interference of waves that creates that pattern.
In science, we use similar behavior to study other phenomena.
Anything. It's not a mathematical function. This is not mathematical wave function collapsing. No, this is a bead. You can see this is the center, and it keeps doing that, going all the way to the end. It can only be caused by waves interfering constructively and deconstructively with other. That's it.
Okay, sorry, just a quick question. Just a quick question then, Anon. You just mentioned wave function collapse.
Light is the wave.
You just mentioned wave function collapse. So upon the wave function collapsing, i.e. was a wave, and that wave has collapsed.
Not collapsed.
I haven't finished, just
There's no
speaking
collapse.
slowly, moron. So, in your setup, you can cause the wave function to collapse, at which point it's not being described mathematically as a wave function anymore. The wave function, mathematical derivative, has collapsed. So at that point, you still are observing light, but not observing a wave function anymore. So given that upon collapse, you have nothing to be described as a wave, where in unholy fuck are you going to get a wave from upon collapse of the wave function? It's collapsed, not a wave. So, who in the Discord thinks I'm talking to them? Shut up in Discord. Clearly talking to Anon. Dialogue. 2 people. It's collapsed. So upon wave function collapse, how are you going to describe the light you're seeing in 2 bars as a wave, Anon?
That's not 2 bars. It's a diffraction pattern.
No, it's not.
There's nothing
it's
collapsing.
Collapsed, you fucking moron. Upon collapse, you get 2 bars. Wave function collapse, that's what 2 bars is. So not only do you not know how to answer my question about how you can derive a wave function after wave function has collapsed, you're also going to say that that's a diffraction pattern when the very definition of the 2 bars is the wave function collapsing. No, that's definitely not diffraction. That's the antithesis, because the wave function has collapsed, you moron.
What does that mean? Wave function collapse. What is
it means it's not a fucking wave function anymore. And I'm asking that, given you're asking me, demonstrating admirably, you haven't got a fucking clue what any of this really means, how it can be described as a wave after the wave function's collapsed.
It's jargon. That's like saying...
oh, jargon, you say? What, the words you used, you said wave function collapsed. Those were your words that you now think is jargon.
Your wave function collapsed.
Yeah, you said wave function collapse. I tried to clarify that after the wave function has collapsed, you've got absolutely sod all to describe as a wave anymore.
Don't collapse.
But sorry, is it time for fundy interruptions, asshole?
Wave function is a
you're not coming back here, Anon. Anon, you're not getting back on the panel. I will be removing you from Master B. Don't rumpus me. I'm asking you that given it's collapsed, the wave function, there's therefore nothing to derive wave from, mathematically or otherwise. So where are you going to get your wave from after wave function collapse? Don't tell me it's jargon when you use that term that clearly you don't understand.
I've never used wave function collapsing.
I said you said wave function collapse. I heard you say it. That's why I brought it up, because I was waiting for you to say it. And when you did say it, I said you mentioned wave collapse, and then you clarified that you did and started giving us your stupid word salad, your bullshittery about stuff you don't understand and have now described as jargon while you talk through me. Do you wonder why I'm not going to let you back here? This is why, you little prick. I'm telling you. In that experiment, you've got a point where wave function collapses. So where the fuck are you going to get a wave from at that point? I'll tell you where. Nowhere, you stupid moron. You still got a light, but you don't have a light wave anymore because the fucking wave function has collapsed. So you're not getting any mathematical derivatives of waves or any physical derivatives of waves because there isn't a wave function anymore, you stupid shit for brains. It's fucking collapsed. Now, the fact that you don't get this and still think it's caused by a wave just demonstrates your stupidity. The fact that you constantly interrupt me demonstrates how weak your reasoning is and how much you need to demonstrate to the audience that you might have something interesting to say. Well, people smarter than you show you how fucking retarded you are. Once it's collapsed, you can't derive a fucking wave function from it any longer, mathematically or otherwise. Do you hear me, you stupid boy?
I disagree with you because there is...
You think I give two fucks what you agree or disagree? All I've had out of you is your buffoonery and word salad, you stupid shithead. I don't give a fuck what you agree with. You're a moron. That's why you're not going to be fucking welcome here anymore. You've got nothing but bullshit and word salad, Anon. That's why I will kick you the fuck out of Master B and you won't be welcome back. You can come back with the other wankers in Discord and I'll mute you rather than me having to mute everybody in the Hangout so they can't hear me berate you. Your stupid bullshittery about what waves are doing with light when you've got a process in your own stupid experiment you don't understand that you've called jargon of wave function collapse. Well, then you don't have a wave anymore, stupid shithead.
Wave function is a mathematical construct.
No fucking shit. So the light's not a fucking wave then, is it? The wave function's mathematical, not physical. An abstraction shit for brains. You getting it?
But the wave on my wall is not abstraction.
There is no fucking wave on your wall after wave function collapse. That's when you don't have a fucking what you call a wave on your wall. So once it's collapsed, no longer describable mathematically or otherwise as a wave, it's collapsed. So it's still light, but you can't derive a wave anymore. You getting it yet?
The only thing that collapses is your reasoning.
No, the wave function. The thing you're deriving your bullshit word salad about light being a wave from collapses. You've still got light. It's still on your wall. You just don't have anything to derive a wave from at that point. But you've still got light hitting a wall. It's just the bit you bullshit about and equivocate with, from maths to physicality, the wave function doesn't exist upon collapse.
That's a word salad.
No, it's not. Oh my God, you asshole. You wonder why you won't be welcome back. Not word salad, a concise understanding of wave function collapse in the double slit experiment.
It's a single slit, number one. And number two, I never brought up wave function collapsing. And again, an antecedent to a diffraction pattern is a wave, a system of waves. Simple as that. It's like having air pressure or pressurized gas without a container. It will fail.
Shut up.
If you have a diffraction pattern, you have a wave.
I'm done with you, Anon. You're annoying. Your endless bullshittery is now just annoying. You make up stuff. You're just annoying.
Hey, Nathan, can I ask the question for my sake? It might help clear it up. If waves always act like a wave, and they create diffraction patterns, if something changes that and it stops acting like a wave, that means there's something else going on, right? Is that the one I'm hearing?
No, because
I'm not asking you, Anon. I'm not asking you. I'm asking Nathan.
I thought you were asking me. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention. I thought you were asking Anon, so I switched off for a second.
No.
Sorry.
No, I'm asking you. It's for clarity. If a wave should always act like a wave, right, at all times. But if for some reason it stops acting like a wave, which is the wave function collapse, that means there's something else going on. So it's not just, am I understanding that right?
It just means it's not a wave, and it never was. The part that was wave-like in any way, shape or form was purely mathematical, and it's just describing probability distribution. So at no stage at any process was ever a wave.
Gotcha.
Nathan, would it be all right
in
if
the quantum eraser experiment, the wave function collapses on one of the detectors, right?
Yeah, upon acquisition of knowledge of which slit it went through, you can cause the wave function, i.e. the probability distribution that is the diffraction pattern, to collapse.
Right. So if it's a wave, as Anon is saying, then that wave should happen no matter what detector it's hitting, correct?
Well, it would just be a total mess. You know, the detector on the back wall, forget the slit detector, if light was coming at it like a wave, like a sea of light, then it would just be a total mess. You wouldn't have individual quantized particles hitting. You can't have that. You can't derive the frequency. You just can't do that. You need to be able to see when it hits, and then when it hits another location, and then when it hits another location, and another location, and another location, individual impacts. And once you've got those, you can then work out the frequency. You can work out and derive the wave function, the probability distribution of those impacts. Well, if Anon understood that you've got to have impacts and the probability of those impacts derived to give you the probability distribution, once you understand that, you can't in any way, shape or form shoehorn in the idea that it's arrived as a wave. It simply doesn't work. And not only that, you can't then derive the wave function if it was a wave. You couldn't derive that mathematical construct from it in the first instance. You need it to be quantized particles with individual impacts with a frequency to derive the bloody thing.
Well, we do see airy disks which look like waves. So when you're looking at airy disks which look like waves of light, it does kind of point to a light having some sort of wave, behavior based off the other waves that we see in everyday life that look kind of similar to those airy disks. And there's even problems with the particulate, notion of light being like a particle, in that if you
don't know what looking at Aries disks is.
Can individual particles hitting individually create the pattern, as Nathan says, the probability? So as you see the imagery shown, the diffraction pattern, the middle area is most hit, and the sides to it are the next and the next and the next, and you could see it. Can that be caused by individual particles or only by a wave?
Well, you can
can't get their heads around.
Well, you can start to build it up with individual particles. So you could.
Right.
It's been done in that way. So you can fire individual particles. No, I've not done this. No, I don't own an argon pump laser. But you can, so I understand, fire individual quantized particles of light and then get a single hit at point 3. And then do it again and get a single point of impact at 0.5. And then do it again and get an impact at 0.1. But at that point, with 3 impacts, you can't derive a full wave function from that. You need more. So then you fire a few more, and after a certain, I don't know how to do the maths in the top of my head, but within a given number of them, you could then derive your wave function from it. But at the point that you've only got 1 or 2 impacts, no, you can't. But you've still had light hitting the detector at the back. Well, that's still light, it's still travelled, it's still hit, it's still light. Can you derive a wave function from that? No. Will it build up a wave function? Or build up a pattern that you can derive one from with more impact? Yes, absolutely. But on the way to having a full enough picture of where the probability will lie, well, before it actually happens, it hasn't even existed as a probability. We're getting beyond quantum level. Before it even exists as a probability, i.e. you haven't turned the bloody laser on, and then you fire 1 particle, well, you get 1 impact. Well, can you derive a wave from that? No. So you fire another one, 2 impacts. Can I drive away from that? No. By the time you're on to 150 of them, yeah, you can start to build up a probability distribution. Where's it going to hit next? Well, it seems like it's most likely to hit at point 3, based on the probability distribution of the impacts thus far. So I'm going to say, most likely going to hit number 3, and guess what fucking happens? You fire the next one and it hits point 1. Because it's only a probability. How likely is it going to hit number 1? Well, not very likely, because it's just hit number 1. So you fire your next beam, and shock and awe, it actually hits number 1 again. You know, it's just how it goes. So you build up that probability map, and then you can extract your mathematical probability wave from it. Your wave function. Purely mathematical, not physical, purely a derivative of the impacts that you've got and the frequency they hit and the probability and likelihood of where they'll hit next. Simple as that.
No, I get that. That was my very point. So then when the knowledge of the which path is introduced, all of a sudden, it doesn't behave that way.
Right.
What happened to the wave? How did it collapse? Why is it no longer a wave the way they think a wave should be? Whereas this is a wave only in the probability factor, a mathematical construct of it.
Well, once wave function collapse has happened, it goes through, say, slit 1, and hits directly behind slit 1, and that's your first bar. And if it goes through slit 2, it hits behind slit 2. So you know exactly where it's going to hit. Shock and horror, it hits behind the slit it went through. Well, you know, when you're firing them and you don't know which slit it's going through, rather than it just going through one and hitting behind the one that it went through, you end up with this random assortment, if not random, but a probability distribution of where it might hit next time. But there's no certitude to where the next impact will be until you know which slit it's going through. And then you have certitude. You know it's going through that one, it went through it. But then on the wall, instead of having this likelihood of where it's going to hit, it just hits directly behind that slit. Well, that in essence is wave function collapse, going from a probability of where it might hit to it's hitting here. Well, why is it hitting there? Well, because they know which slit it went through. And before they knew which slit it was going through, it could be going through one or the other. All they had was a probability of where it might hit. Where what might hit? Well, the quantized particle that they fired. Not where will we see this cross-section of interfering bloody waves in the ether? Who the hell has come up with this shite?
No, I don't see how you could explain it any more clear than that.
Well, I hope so, because that's where I'm going to round out the show. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and hitting that 1980 join button that we've just got. Massive thanks to all of you in the G Plus and Discord panels for making this after show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!